Hello and welcome to episode 56 of the Hauger History Podcast, a sixth grade edition on this afternoon, getting towards the end of the year of your studies. I hope it's been a great one. You can request episodes by visiting us at Twitter or on YouTube at Danny Hauger, on Twitter at Hauger History, and we're about to get started on an episode about the Patricians, the Plebeians, and the rise of the Roman Empire. Was there no sound effect there? This is so unlike Crash Course. All right, well, in this chapter and in this unit that you're learning in school across the nation, you're no doubt learning about the Etruscan influence and the Greek influences on Rome. One of the neatest things about Rome is the way they pulled influence from different successes and then adapted and innovated, which is what great people and great countries do. They take ideas that they can be proud of, and it lasted about 500 years once the Romans overthrew the Etruscans. You had two classes of people. You had the Patricians, who were the rich, wealthy upper class, making up about 5% of the population, and the Plebeians, the everyday common man and woman, 95%, and they had little voice in government at the beginning, and that caused problems. Patricians had driven out the last of the Etruscan kings and created a republic in about 509 BCE. Most of the power was held by the Senate and the consuls, and only patricians were allowed to participate in the government. Now, initially, that's problematic when 95% of your people can't participate, and they're wondering why they're fighting in the wars selected by 5% of the people if they had no representation or never got to choose when those wars would occur. So these plebeians, these lower class, these common people began to demand more rights and more political representation. This struggle was known as the conflict of the orders. And in 494 BCE, they were angry over their lack of power, and the plebeians rebelled. The plebeians did. They actually did. After about 200 years of struggle, the plebeians were agreed to be let in by the patricians, and they elected tribunes, which were a bit like representatives, to go to a council, and they also allowed plebeians into the council of the plebes around 451 BCE. That was created. 12 tables were published. That was the first time that Roman laws were written down. There was such protest over the fact that people were being arrested, jailed, or much worse, because they didn't even know what the laws were. So the laws were printed and released to the public, and by 287 BCE, assemblies of all citizens could pass laws, which was a huge activation for representative republic and what would eventually be known as democracy. Plebeians governed with patricians, and the plebeians had won their fight for equality. It was a huge, momentous event in Roman history. And now how about some fast facts for what would become an enormous empire? Which countries were represented in the Roman Empire? We've got a plethora of maps that are available. The present-day countries that once formed a part of the vast empire included Morocco, Austria, Spain, the UK, that's right, Croatia, Turkey, Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Bulgaria, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Italy, how much time do we have? Israel, Portugal, Greece, Romania, Hungary, Germany, Switzerland, and Slovenia. And take a breath. Oh, what's for dinner tonight? Okay, sorry. Back to work. I know, that was kind of lame, but come on, give me a break. Circus Maximus, the most famous hippodrome, which is a really fun word to say, features the ancient Roman design that was invented to hold horses and chariot races, and as many as 250,000, 250,000 people could go and watch the 600-meter length track and watch these tremendous entertainment events. And while the majority of technologies were developed by Romans from earlier people, few of the innovations were totally new. Some of the most popular, though, were the aqueducts, the water-powered milling machines, roads, sewage and pipe systems, thermal heating, metallurgy and glasswork, high-rise buildings, floor construction, bridge works, and dome construction. Not bad, even if it didn't happen in a day. That's pretty impressive. One of the major landmarks was the Colosseum, which had a capacity of 50,000. If you've ever been to any modern sporting event, you'll notice how much our buildings are similar today and how much we innovate off previous ideas, just like the Romans did. Julius Caesar, one of the most successful and powerful characters in the history of the Roman Empire, was a great speaker, a historian, a statesman, and a lawgiver. He was made consul in 59 BC, but refused to take rex or king for the benefit of the common man. Those are some very quick, fast facts. We're going to dive in a lot deeper in our classroom, and I'm sure that you are too in your studies. But now, in just under 5 minutes, you've gained an understanding about how the lower class wanted to gain rights and fought for them over 200 years to have the patricians recognize them, and how Rome rose to be a republic. Wow. Leave a comment in the comment section. Did we get anything wrong? Did we leave anything out? We did a lot. All right. We'll talk to you later. Mr. Hauger here, wishing you a great rest of your year, a happy summer, and get those episode suggestions in at Hauger History. We'll see you on the next edition. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Pushing your chairs, and you are dismissed. See you later.